Well, that's it. As of a couple hours ago, Marathon is fried. We got the most recent Marathon development update. Let's get started. Thank you for not only your passionate feedback around the Marathon Reveal and Alpha playtest, but also for your patience while we took the time to listen closely and chart our next steps. Through every comment and real-time conversation on social media and Discord, your voice has been strong and clear. We've taken this to heart and know that we need more time to craft Marathon into the game that truly reflects your passion. After months of discussion within our dev team, we've made the decision to delay the September 23rd release. The alpha test created an opportunity for us to calibrate and focus the game on what will make it uniquely compelling: survival under pressure, mystery and lore around every corner, raid-like endgame challenges, and Bungie's genre-defying FPS combat. We're using this time to empower the team to create the intense, high-stake experience that the title like Marathon's built around. This means the deepening relationship between devs and the game's most important voices, our players. Over the next few months, we'll continue closed testing, including participants from the alpha, to deploy gameplay updates and test new features as they come online. Some of our immediate focus will be upping the survival game to make it more challenging and engaging AI encounters, more rewarding ones with new types of loot and dynamic events, making combat more tense and strategic, and doubling down on the Marathon universe, increasing visual fidelity, more narrative and environment storytelling to discover and interact with, in a darker tone that delivers on themes of the original trilogy, and adding more social experiences like a better player experience for solo and duels and proximity chat so social stories can come to life. You'll hear from us again later this fall when we can share the progress we've made alongside the game's new release date. Thank you again for your patience and, much more importantly, your passion. Your continued feedback will help us make Marathon the incredible gaming experience that we know it can be. Okay, a couple things here. The good, the bad, and the ugly. For starters, we're going to start with the bad. So, in my opinion, I do not like the fact that they say that the game is just delayed. They're delaying from the original September 23rd release, and they're saying that they're going to come back to it, this fall when they can share the progress made and give the game a new release date. I think that this leaves too much for interpretation. A lot of people saying game is indefinitely delayed, game is canceled, no new release date, game is being unlisted, game is being removed from stores, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of speculation being made from people who just want to get attention, and it is really, really bad for the community, and it's really, really bad for people who aren't in the community that were looking at Marathon as a way to get in. I would have rather Bungie said, game will release in 2026, and that date would have been December 31st, 2026, than for them to just say, nope, game delayed. I think simply saying game release 2026 would have given them enough flexibility without them committing to another release date, because the way this sounds is it basically appears that because of a lot of controversy, that being the alpha having moderately negative reception, the controversy surrounding stolen artwork, and other controversy surrounding the actual developers and the higher ups of the game having no response to said controversy. It's kind of been flying in the dark for a couple weeks, Marathon that being, and it's looking like, to some people, they're speculating out of their ass, saying, oh, Sony's going to cancel Marathon and a whole bunch of things. But as we know, Sony still expects Marathon to release, Bungie still expects Marathon to release, and everybody else should still expect Marathon to release next year. Now, a couple more things that I don't like. Over the next few months, we'll continue closed testing, including participants from the alpha, to deploy gameplay updates and test new features as they come online. I did not get to play test in the alpha. Now, this is a me personal thing. I know one person who actually got access to an alpha key, and it was a gifted alpha key. They did not get their own, right? And I got banned. From the official Marathon Discord because I asked if anyone had a Discord key. I was wrongfully banned, in my opinion. So I fear that I am just simply going to be completely out of the loop. I'm going to be unable to create. I'm going to be unable to cover, and I'm going to be unable to play Marathon basically until the game releases. So I hate the fact that they're staying, including participants from the alpha. It's me. I didn't get a chance to play. However, kind of happy that they're not just keeping it closed testing, as in they're going to invite content creators back to the studio again. They didn't invite me, wink, wink, cough, cough. I would love to go to the studio and play Marathon, but it looks like that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen anytime soon. Between Marathon getting delayed and false bans, however much that's worth, doesn't look like that's going to happen. Now, the good. Upping the survival game. As an outside observer, the AI combatants did not appear challenging enough. The only time that they appeared challenging is when little Timmies turned their back to the enemy and let their booties get destroyed. Pretty much the only time that people actually had any challenge with the AI combatants was when they just simply ignored them. And making the AI encounters more engaging, I think will do well for the game. Because in Tarkov, if you ignore the AI, you're just going to die. Period. The scavs will get your ass. They'll say cheeky breaky, and then they'll shoot you head eyes from a mile away. Now, more rewarding runs with new types of loot and dynamic events. The dynamic events in the Marathon Alpha were few and far between, but the ones that I did see, the weather events and the actual station events, they were cool. They were cool. You know, the little puzzles, they were fun. But rewarding runs, as an outside, this is all as an outside observer, by the way, because as you can tell, I'm still salty that I didn't get to participate in the alpha. More rewarding runs. The only loot that I ever knew was good was when the color was a higher tier. There was nothing screamed at you. Hey, this is good, take this. Besides it saying, oh, this is a high dollar value. Oh, this is yellow. This is legendary. You should take it. It was all very generic. And I know part of the art style is, you know, kind of everything is a generic type beat, but there was no real good distinction besides, oh, this is a higher color, you should take this. Hopefully, the new types of loot make things more interesting and also making the combat more tense and strategic. I really think that between AI, it should be more tense and strategic. Between the players, in my perspective, I think it was good enough. It felt more like a kind of like a Apex Legends light. You know, maybe they can slow it down, make the times to kill a little bit longer, you know, a little bit shorter. However you want to do it. I don't know how to balance it. I would try both and just play with it. But to me, outside observer, I'm going to say it a million times, it looked like a Apex Legends light. Now, doubling down on the Marathon universe, increased visual fidelity. In my humble opinion, the game looks great. I think it's beautiful. I think it's a great art style, and controversy surrounding art theft aside, I do not think that they're going to completely redo the entire art style of the game because one former employee, contractor, however you want to call them, just so you can't get sued into oblivion, stole art. It happens all the time. Art is referenced, art is stolen. It's just a thing that happens in the industry. It sucks that it happened. The artist can, should, and will, and is going to be compensated by Bungie. We already know that they're going to make right. PlayStation and Sony are going to make sure that Bungie does right by anti-real. Otherwise, you know, they will get sued. It's not even a question. They will get sued if they do not make right with the artist and sign a contract, even credit, even get a consulting gig, however they want to do it. The art theft is a non-issue. The game looks beautiful. I don't know what they mean by increased visual fidelity. Everything looks great. More narrative and environmental storytelling, discover, interact with. This is things like journals in the world, you know, you see a skeleton in a bathtub. You know, environmental storytelling. You see somebody crushed by a car, like somebody killed by a robot or a spider or whatever. You know, stuff like that was missing. The game is sterile. It is a closed alpha, obviously, so, you know, a lot of the lore beats you can't actually put into the game, but there's no places for any of that, really, and I'm assuming that they're going to take this time to add some of that. And also a darker tone that delivers on themes of the original trilogy. I'm of the opinion that most people, when they say, oh, new Marathon 2026 at this point, isn't like the original Marathon trilogy, they're just speaking out because they haven't played the original trilogy. The original trilogy was limited. The original trilogy was limited by a lot of things. It was basically like a Deus Ex predecessor and then turned into like a Deus Ex clone. It was dark and gritty, and games evolve over time. You know, even within the first Marathon games, you can tell that the art style is consistently evolving to something more futuristic, and it isn't a far leap to suggest that 500 years or 200 years into the future, that shit would get more advanced. Now, apart from that, a darker tone, we don't know much about the story. Maybe they decided internally that the story wasn't good, or that the lore wasn't good, or that they want to rewrite it, or they want to connect it more to the original Marathon games besides, you know, just using the name, because to me, I don't believe there was a lot of things connecting Marathon 2026 to the original Marathon games. So, we'll see. Now, finally, adding more social experiences. Yippee! Better player experience for social and duo. Whether or not that is getting buffs or getting unique environments if you're playing solo or duo or having lobbies exclusive to solos and duos. All I know is that the game is unbalanced if you're playing 3v1 or hell, it's sometimes even 2v1. From what I saw when I was watching my friend stream through Discord, it was a nightmare when he didn't have a 3-stack or when he somehow didn't get his teammates to actually follow directions or follow their directions. And also proximity chat. The developers were adamant at launch that they were not going to be doing proximity chat, that it wasn't for them. It is, you can read between the lines with what they mean, but Destiny is already a cesspool. Destiny already is a cesspool, and Bungie is a politically correct company, more politically correct than Battlestate Games, for example. Battlestate Games couldn't give a rat's ass what is said in their VoIP, in their prox chat. Bungie does give a rat's ass what is said in their proximity chat, and ratings boards do care what is potential stuff like proximity chat. However, it is proximity chat at this point. Even though most, if not all, extraction shooters do not start with it, the genre has evolved to the point where proximity chat is expected. It is something that needs to happen, right? It is the social aspect, because there are many times when you need to communicate with your team and also need to communicate with enemies to, trade, do things, to, oh, I don't want to fight you, you don't want to fight me, let's go our separate ways. There's a lot of, as they say, social stories. The social aspect of the extraction shooter genre cannot be understated, and the intentional exclusion of proximity chat was only to protect themselves, right? Or to protect players, which is noble. I guess some would say it's noble. I don't think it's noble. I think it was taking the easy way out at the expense of of the topic at the expense of the players. Destiny's already what Destiny is. Let Marathon be what Marathon's gonna be. Have a comprehensive ban system in the game if you're going to be unhappy with people flaming each other. It's just something that happens. We're all adults, most of us at least. Most of us are adults who can function, who can handle it. Let the people have proximity chat, and thus we are getting proximity chat at launch rather than at some unknown date, so I'm glad they caved. But besides that, wow, the community reaction is fried. It is so mixed, man. It is absolutely ridiculous. I have seen so much back and forth, the different directions of there's two buckets mainly. Bucket number one, bucket number one, good. Game delay is a good thing. A delayed game is good eventually. A rushed game is bad forever. I completely agree with that, and I am in that bucket. I am fully in support of Marathon being delayed. Hell, if I was in the chair, if I was Mr. Parsons, if I was Mr. Parsons, I would have delayed this game after seeing what I saw during the closed alpha. Then there's the other bucket. Slop. Delete Marathon. Focus everything into Destiny. Make Destiny 3. You're wasting your time by making an extraction shooter. You're wasting your time by trying to do something different. You are Bungie. You are Destiny. Stick to what you're good at. I do not agree with that, but there is a shit ton. There's an absolute load of back and forth by the good and the bad members of this community, and I've been looking at this one for quite a while. While I was thinking of what I wanted to say in this video, just remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and despite it being remarkably corny, I do agree. It is a marathon, not a sprint. So, besides that, I hope each and every single one of you has a great day. Let me know what you think about Marathon being delayed in the comment section down below, and take care now.